This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by patrons like Rebecca. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 and get exclusive rewards at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. And we'll name that patron. That's right, 3, 2, 1, go. Vaxxer's got a stopwatch. By the way, Vaxxer, after editing, you were 1.5 minutes off from your predicted time for how long the episode would be. You predicted 35 and it came out to 36.5, which is pretty amazing, unless you're sitting there with a stopwatch. All right. Episode 97 of Switchcraft is brought to you by OP Seats. If you are looking for a fantastic gaming chair that really honestly feels more like a car seat than a desk chair, then look no further than opseats.com. And while you're there, if you want to get $10 off your extremely comfortable chair, use the coupon code RUNJUMPSIT. That's RUNJUMPSIT for $10 off your OP Seats chair. And I got to tell you, these chairs are fantastic. I'm sitting in one now, and it is super comfortable. All right, let's jump in with the feedback. The first bit, we've got a... oh my gosh, I almost forgot to remind everyone that Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week. That's 3 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And also we record live on Saturdays at whatever time the universe allows, depending on my family and I's schedules. So make sure that you head on over to twitch.tv/runjumpstomp and tune in, just like these awesome people did. We've got Aerslia here. Captain Logan is here. Vaxxer, Kodiak Moonwolf, Nintendork04. Let's see, anyone else? We've got a whole bunch of lurkers, but I won't call you guys out. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming by and hanging out today. I appreciate it. Let's jump in with the review. Gizmo2615 said it was an awesome show. They said, I go to this podcast. That's not what they said. They said, this is my go-to podcast on iTunes. I started listening to this a couple of months ago and stop what I'm doing to listen to the episode when it's posted. When that's don't, I have to retype everybody's messages, so I probably did a typo here. I'll listen to some of the first... Oh, when that's done, I'll listen to some of the first episodes. This is how much I love the way the content is delivered. It's always fun to hear what the speculations of the Switch were before launch. RJS, keep up the great work. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to produce such an awesome show. There's no reason why your show shouldn't be listed as the number 1 show for the Nintendo Switch. Well, I think that would be fantastic if it was, and if people keep reviewing like you do, maybe someday it will be. So thank you very much, Gizmo2615, for the review. There's a bunch of different ways that you can get a hold of me. Number 1 is email, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know what you think. You can tweet at me at runjumpstomp. You can call and leave a voicemail. The phone number is 260-RUNJUMP. That's 260-786-5867. You can, of course, join the Discord at runjumpstomp.com/Discord. And you can also join the live chat, just like I said earlier, at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. Like these lurkers and chatters are. Link31254 wants to know, can the streamer see everyone who is watching? I can see everyone who is watching, even if they don't talk. So, just so you know. I can't see into your house, though. Or can I? All right, let's go ahead and hit the news. That's right. RJS's big brother. Well, this totally snuck up on me, and I would have been very embarrassed had I not noticed this morning. And that is that last year on October 19th, Nintendo posted the famous tweet of Mario kind of pulling a curtain back and saying, tune in on the 20th to find out what the NX is all about, or whatever it is that they said. And so tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of us getting to actually finally see the Switch and what it is. And I went back and I rewatched that original video, the one that we all made fun of Karen for. And if you don't know who Karen is, she's the lady who brings the Switch over to the rooftop party. And a lot of people made fun of her, like, that's the stupidest thing. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to be sitting there playing their Switch in all these different locations. And we do. We play our Switch in a lot of different locations. And I think that not just the haters, but everyone is surprised at how accurate that commercial is for the Switch. So anyway, I think if you're interested, click on the link in the show notes, and you can go back and see what that original video was like, and see if you think that Nintendo has nailed it or not. All right, let's talk about something else about the Switch that's brand new. That's right, only a year. All right, so this is Switch of just anniversary. Sorry. All right, here we go. Well, yesterday we had a bit of a surprise. Late yesterday, the Switch was updated to the Switch's firmware, was updated to level to version 4.0.0. I made a quick video showing off what some of the new features are, but I'm going to go through the new features now and talk about like my thoughts as well as some other people's thoughts. We were talking about it on the Discord last night. I was rendering the video, and I was because I recorded me exporting some video from the Switch. So if you want, go to my YouTube site. That's youtube.com/runjumpstomp, and you can check out that video. But we were talking about it last night while I was waiting for the video to render on the Discord, and it's pretty interesting what they've done here. So first off, there's now a new way to use the share button. Before, the share button you just push the button and it takes a screenshot. Well, now if you hold the button, it will take the last 30 seconds of video that happened in your game, which is really cool. So what it's doing then is it is constantly keeping the last 30 seconds of footage all the time, recording that. And it is just keeping the last 30 seconds and deleting anything older than 30 seconds all the time. And then as soon as you hit that button, it takes that 30 seconds and dumps it onto your memory. Or it takes it out of your memory and puts it on your SD card or your internal storage. So I made a video. I posted it on Twitter. The video was 29 seconds long, and the file size was 9.17 megabytes. Now, the reason it was 29 seconds and not 30 seconds is because I trimmed a little bit off the beginning just so I could see what it's like, and so that I could show that off, because I was recording myself making the video, which is kind of a weird Inception kind of thing anyway. So I trimmed off like the very beginning. I was playing ARMS, and then I posted it. Well, then I downloaded that video from Twitter, and I looked at some of the stats, and it was 9.17 megabytes, 720p, 30 frames per second, and 3000 kilobits per second. Just so you know, how does that compare? Well, right now I'm streaming on Twitch at 1080p, 60 frames per second, 6000 kilobits per second. So pretty much doubling everything except for the resolution. It looks pretty fuzzy, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, especially when you're playing on a 1080p monitor or TV, and you're looking at the video that you've recorded. So you're not expecting the best quality here. And I think the reason for that is they're keeping these really, really small. I think later on down the road, we'll probably see longer times. So maybe you'll be able to record a full minute or 5 minutes or something like that. I don't expect the times to be too long, though. Keeping that much data in the RAM means that the game can't use the RAM. That is unless the Switch is doing something with this 30 seconds of video and using space on the SD card as virtual RAM. I'm not sure how this all works. I'm not an engineer. So if you understand how this all works and the process that they went through to do something like this, reach out, let me know. Some people were thinking that Nintendo was just sitting on this feature for a while. I think that they've been working to keep the file sizes down and to keep it from impacting battery or performance in the game. I did this multiple times, and I haven't seen any hiccups when I was playing ARMS. So I tried it with ARMS. I haven't tried it with Mario Kart 8. Speaking of which, there are certain games that are currently supported. They're all Nintendo games. And I'm bringing up the list right now. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. So, nope, that's not it. Here we go. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the first one. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, ARMS, and Splatoon 2. So all big first-party titles. Now, some people were like, Nintendo is holding this back from other games. I don't think that's true at all. I think what's happening is Nintendo has a new API done, and what they're doing is they've updated the firmware to use this API that didn't exist when these other games were made. And so other developers are going to have to patch their games in order to get this functionality to work. And it's going to be up to each developer to determine whether or not they can spare the RAM to keep that 30 seconds of footage all the time. And if they can spare the processing power so that when you hit that button and then it compresses the save file down to that ridiculously small 9 megabytes. First off, I find that incredibly impressive that they were able to keep it that small. So anyway, we were talking about it on Discord, and Arislia, who's in chat right now, they said, I'm surprised, A, that there's enough RAM there with room to spare for the game itself, and B, that constantly recording doesn't seem to impact performance. Now, Arislia, I'm not sure if you say anything about that, because in the Discord right before I started streaming, you mentioned that you weren't sure about it impacting performance or not. So I'm just curious, has anyone who's got 4.0.0 on their Switch run into issues where this feature is impacting performance? And if you are, let me know. Okay. Other stuff that came with 4.0.0, we've also got a system transfer. So now you are able to transfer your user and save data from one Switch system to another. It's important to note that you have to have both systems physically. This is not cloud saving, but this is a step in the right direction. And I do think that in the future, we will probably get cloud saves. Knock on wood, I hope that's something that we end up with. Before I move on, Arslia did respond in chat. They said, my friend did mention Breath of the Wild does take a hit in a few places. That just could be because every once in a while, Breath of the Wild takes a hit anyway. I've run into issues where I was playing Breath of the Wild, not very many, maybe 2 or 3, and I've got almost 200 hours into Breath of the Wild. But 2 or 3 times, Link just freezes, and it's like the whole game stops for a second, and the system is like, I don't know what to do. And then it figures it out and everything goes back to normal. So that could or could not be related to 4.0.0. If you're experiencing something like Arslia's friend, please write in and let us know. Other features, you can now select 12 new Super Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild icons for your user profile. Cool, I guess. This is cool, you can now pre-purchase or have the option to pre-purchase games from the Nintendo eShop. So let's say that you want to buy Super Mario Odyssey and you want to play it as soon as it's available. You purchase it ahead of time, and then when you when you turn on your Switch that day, if it's after the time that the game comes out, it'll automatically be there, and you won't have to be the person to go there and turn it on to download it. So that's awesome. That's really great. They updated the news channel a little bit. They said that the news feed has been updated with a new look. I didn't really see much of a difference. Again, you can look on your own Switch, or if you don't update your stuff, then you can go to my YouTube channel and look at the video. I showed off the news page. It didn't look all that different to me, but I don't spend a lot of time looking at it. They did also say that unfollowing a channel will remove that channel's content from the news feed, and following the channel again will make it reappear. I wasn't aware that there was an issue there. I guess I never unfollowed something that I had already followed. Then the last thing is a really cool option that if you have, let's say it's 6 months from now, and you want to play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with some friends, and you are all locally hanging out together, you and all the other people who have your Switches, but you haven't updated to the latest version of Mario Kart, and your friends have. Basically what they're going to be able to do, because you have to have the same version to play together, is you'll create a group, you'll go into options and software update, and then you're going to hit the button that says match version with local users, and everyone's software in that local group will be updated to match the most recent version in the group without using the internet, which is really cool. That way you can get an update whether you're connected to the internet or not. And I really like that as an idea. I think I kind of, brushed it off a little bit yesterday in my YouTube video, but the more I think about it, the more I think that this is a really great feature. It's not something that people are going to take advantage of right away. And that's because right now, if you're updating to 4.0.0, you'll probably also have all of the latest software updates as well. But going down the road, maybe you haven't played Mario Kart in a while. It's just been sitting in your case, and you're hanging out with somebody, and you pull it out, and you didn't realize that there's been 2 patches since then. That's when this is going to come in handy. And I think it's awesome, because if you were doing that before and you didn't have any way to connect to the internet, then how could you play your game with your friends? You wouldn't be able to, and that would be really irritating. Anyway, those are the overall patch notes for the system update. I think it's fantastic that Nintendo they seem to be doing a good job with this. Oh man, I almost forgot. They also updated the firmware for the Joy-Cons. I have no clue what it does. It was really weird. I updated it. The right Joy-Con took longer to update than the left Joy-Con. I think this is because the right Joy-Con has more stuff in it. It's got the infrared sensor, so there's that. But they updated that, and there's one more thing that they didn't mention at all, and this is a really weird thing. USB headphones support is also added. So if you have a pair of USB headphones, specifically wireless USB headphones, up until now, I guess they didn't work. It never occurred to me to try this, even though I have a pair of wireless USB headphones. That stuff's all hooked up to my computer, and I'm not tearing it apart to get to it. But you can take the USB dongle, plug it into the Switch dock, and I guess it'll connect to your or maybe through the USB-C port on the bottom. I'm not sure. But you'll be able to have wireless headphones. I think that over time, the Switch's firmware is going to continually be updated with more features that increase its versatility. And I think down the road, crossing my fingers, crossing my toes, I think down the road we will have full-on Bluetooth support for Bluetooth headphones. I think that would be great. I hope that that's something that we end up with, and I'm not sure. So Dr. Panda PhD says if you use a USB-C to USB dongle, you can do it in handheld. Okay. And Arislia makes a very good point. This is not for Bluetooth. Like I was saying, this is for the headphones that have a USB dongle, not just any wireless headphones. So, you know, if you've got your Apple AirPods or whatever that is that they call them, those don't work. All right. You got to have something that has a USB dongle with it. Let's see. Link31254 in chat says, I actually had that problem trying to play ARMS with my friend. He didn't have the new update, and we didn't have internet where we were. I had to use your phone. He had to use his phone's hotspot. All right. So 4.0.0, that would have solved that for Link. All right. Okay. We've gone on about this for quite a bit. This was the big story today. I'm going to hit up gameplay and then the lightning round, and then we've got to talk about what's coming down the road. All right. News. Kimbalina, just so you know, we shipped it yesterday. Maybe it was today. We shipped your dock sock. Okay, let's see. So what have I been playing? Well, I've been playing mostly two games. One of them is Stardew Valley. I don't know how far into the game I am. I'm just now finishing the first season. So I'm finishing that first spring so far. And I'm really enjoying the game. It doesn't quite have its claws into me yet, but I can see how down the road there's a possibility that it might. I'm having a lot of fun with that game. I played it. I was listening to a podcast, and I turned the audio on Stardew Valley down, and I was just kind of going through my day and, you know, chopping down the wood and going into the caves. And there's such a variety of things to do in that game that it's really difficult for me to make a decision. And sometimes I just get frozen by all of the choice that I have. And it's really difficult for me to figure out what it is that I want to do. So one thing that I wish that Stardew Valley would do is almost restrict how much you can do at the very beginning. And I know that longtime veterans of the game, people who've played it for hundreds and hundreds of hours, they would say that's ghastly what you're saying. But to a brand new player, when I'm playing it, I just feel like I don't know what I should be doing, and I always feel like I look in my inventory and I just stare at my inventory and I'm not sure, what do I keep? What do I get rid of? What is worth keeping when selling? You know, I miss people's birthdays in the game because I can't remember what I'm supposed to do, or I spend too much time down in the mine digging stuff up. And I think that my favorite parts of the game so far have been the parts where I'm in the mine. I really like the mine, going through and digging for the ore, and when you see the ore on the screen, you're like, yes, I found some. It's got a very good loop to it. I really like the foraging, where I go out and I cut down trees and plants, and I'm clearing out the area for my farm to be built. And I like the farming part. I really like building up my farm and expanding it, even though right now it's just like the tiniest little patch of wet dirt that there could ever be. The things about the game that I don't like, and I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me when I say this, I don't like the other characters. I don't find they all seem like they all have like a sentence to say to me, and I'm not looking for an excessive amount of prose, but when I'm playing the game and I go to talk to somebody and they're like, sure is nice today, and that's all they say, and I'm like, okay, I thought that this game was one of those games where people got really invested in the characters. And maybe I'm just not there yet, but I don't care about the town, and I don't care about the people in the town. And like, we did this weird thing where you had to go searching for eggs, and I found that to be really dull, and it just feels like it's taking me away from the part of the game that I love, which is the mining and the farming and the building of my stuff. And I almost feel like I would prefer the game if it didn't have all of this other stuff in it that I know a lot of people love. So I'm not sure where I stand on Stardew Valley. I'm still trying to work that out, and I'm not ready to like put a stamp in it and say whether or not I love it, or I definitely don't dislike it. But I don't know if it's the kind of game that I'm going to be playing for hundreds of hours like I did when I played Minecraft, or like I did when I played Terraria. And I know it's a very different game, or Animal Crossing for crying out loud. And if Animal Crossing came out, I think I would prefer that to Stardew Valley quite a bit. That being said, I can't say that it's not a good game, and I think that it's a game that pretty much everyone who has a Switch should definitely pick up. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I do think that they've fixed an issue that I had, because I think it's 2 days ago I streamed it, and you can check out the video of the stream on Twitch. And in that video, you could hear like the audio was crackling, and I'm not sure if they patched it or not, because I didn't patch it. And that's the thing about the Switch, is it constantly will patch. It'll patch stuff for you. So, you know, you'll start up a game and it'll have the new version, and I never had to hit a button. And I love that. That's a really great feature of the Switch, that it's updating my software without me having to touch it. That's great. That makes it so things like what happened to Link are less likely to happen, where he goes to play ARMS with his friends and they aren't able to play because they aren't all on the same version number. So anyway, I started up Stardew Valley this morning. I ate breakfast and I sat down. I was going to play a little bit of Stardew Valley, and I didn't hear the crackle, and I was very confused. I was like, wait a second, did this get patched? So I'm not sure if the game got patched or not, but it sounded like the crackle that I was hearing in the audio, which is a known bug, is gone. So I don't know if the game was patched or not, but if it was, then good job on them. Let's see, what are people saying in chat? Nintendork says, "Give," in all caps, by the way, says, "Give me Animal Crossing on my Switch." Arislia says, "All the Animal Crossing tweets hurt my soul. I need it." And Vaxer says, I find Animal Crossing a bit disturbing. I don't know why. For a really long time, I looked at Animal Crossing and I said, oh, that's a stupid game. I'm not interested in that. It looks dumb. And then I picked it up because a lot of people whose opinions I respect said that the game was awesome, and they were totally right. So I have a copy of New Leaf, my wife has a copy of New Leaf, and my son has a copy of New Leaf. And for a while, we were playing it like every day. So when it comes to the Switch, I'm going to be playing that game. I'm looking forward to an Animal Crossing game. All right. Other game that I've been playing, I played some ARMS, which honestly, I wasn't even going to try it. Well, that's not the truth. How do I want to put this? I wasn't planning on playing ARMS at all. But when 4.0.0 came out, I said to myself, well, I need something that would make a good 30-second clip. So I loaded up ARMS and I started playing, and I played a lot more than just what I needed to get a 30-second clip. That game is great. I've forgotten how great ARMS is, and I did have to patch it. And I played as both Springman and Lollipop. And I gotta say, Lollipop is really good, and I haven't really played as her. I haven't really played ARMS since the update when they gave us that first new character, Max Brass. I played it a little bit then, and I hadn't played it much after that. But I'm going to be playing more ARMS again. I probably won't stream it. It's very involved, and you really have to pay attention to the game, and that means I miss things on chat. But I'm going to be playing more ARMS. It's a great game, and it's too bad that it came out when it did. I think if ARMS had come out, well, I don't think there's a good spot this year for ARMS to have come out. I think maybe if ARMS had come out next year, and it like Splatoon had an entire year to itself, then ARMS would have totally nailed it. Or if Nintendo held off on Splatoon 2 and dropped it next year instead, then given ARMS a full year to itself, I think that would have been great as well. All right, let's move on to the lightning round. Gameplay. Dr. Panda PhD says, I'm having so much fun with Stardew, streamed it last night, and totally lost track of time. I find, you know what drove me a little crazy is the clock on Stardew Valley. When I'm playing it, I keep looking at the clock and I'm like, oh my god, oh no, it's not that time. That's just the time in the game. Well, I don't think that ARMS is unpopular. It's, well, okay. I did do a search to see how many people were streaming ARMS yesterday, and the answer was 0. None. So it is an unpopular game. But it's just because you can't see it through all of the giants that are next to it. You know what I mean? It's really too bad that it came out when it did. All right, let's do the lightning round. Go back and record. All right, here is the lightning round. I'm not going to talk quite as much during the lightning round. We've got only 3 headlines to get through. The first one is from Silicon Era, and that is that Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon isn't a sequel, but it has a different main story with an other world to visit. So basically what's happening is you are playing through the same game that you were before, but it's a different story. And so you're going to go to the same locations again, but you'll meet different people along the way, I guess. There was an interview with the producer Shigeru Omori and the director Kazumasa Iwao. I really butchered that, sorry. And they were talking with Famitsu Magazine, and Masuda, who's in charge is in charge of supervising the game. They said that Game Freak was very happy to find out that the Z moves were well received by fans. Meh, I don't really find them all that interesting myself. For Sun and Moon, Game Freak worked on balancing bosses and making them beatable if players use proper strategies or suffer if they go in recklessly. I like that. Whenever I have played a Pokemon game, and just so you know, I've played X, Omega Ruby, or Alpha Sapphire, I can't remember which one, and I've played Pokemon Moon or Sun, I can't remember which one. I think I played Sun. Anyway, when I was playing those games, I felt like the game was so easy that I had absolutely no challenge at all. And I never ran into issues. Now, I didn't beat Sun. I didn't beat Omega Ruby. I did finish X. But I didn't not complete. There's a double negative there. I can't think of another way to say this. Not finishing the game had nothing to do with the difficulty of the game. It had to do with me just getting bored of it and getting distracted by something else. So I'm not really sure. I hope that this is something that we'll see in the future, especially for the Switch version of Pokemon, whatever that ends up being. I hope that there's a bit more of a challenge there. And I could be the wrong, what's the word I'm looking for, demographic for it. I know that the game is aimed at kids for the most part, but if you make it too easy, then it just kind of yanks all of the fun out of it. Anyway, that's just for me. They did go on to say that the story is not a sequel. It's a story that has a little divergence from Sun and Moon. Honestly, this game seems like something that is a no-brainer to skip, especially if you have Sun and Moon. I don't think you're going to get much out of it. I could be wrong. But then again, I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. In related news, IGN has posted that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are the last Pokemon RPGs for the 3DS. This is after talking to people at Game Freak, and they said, "We are really treating Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon as the culmination of our work with the 3DS system." So if you are going to be wanting Pokemon games in the future, you're going to need to get something other than a 3DS. It looks like you're going to have to go find yourself a Switch. And I know that there's people in chat are saying permadeath for Pokemon. And I know that there are ways to make the game more difficult, like Nuzlocke, but that's outside of the game. If I want the game to be... You know what I would love? I would love if they would put a Nuzlocke rule set in the game so that I could choose that. And then the game would make me follow those rules rather than me having to remember what the rules are and go and look and say, am I allowed to catch this Pokemon or not? You know, that kind of thing. Anyway, I've gone on quite a bit of time. This almost doesn't even feel like a lightning round story, but here's one that is definitely a lightning round story. Rocket League is 60 frames per second on the Switch. That is super important. Rocket League is an incredibly fast-paced game where position of your car and the hitbox of your car is incredibly important, and being able to make sure that that corner of your car hits that ball, if you have less than 60 frames per second, you're going to feel it. And I think that it's fantastic that Rocket League is going to be running 60 frames per second on the Switch, especially considering that Rocket League is made in like in DirectX 9, and porting that forward or over to the Switch has got to be a huge undertaking. So that's pretty awesome. H. Ken Legacy says, "Oh, we're allowed to chat." Yes, you are allowed to chat. That's kind of weird. Weird question, man. Anyway, coming soon on October 20th. That's tomorrow. Fire Emblem Warriors is coming out. I'm not picking that game up. I've got too much to play, and I want to talk about what it is I'm going to be playing the rest of the year here in a second. I've just got way too much stuff to play right now. So I won't be picking up Fire Emblem Warriors yet, but maybe down the line. And then Siberia is also coming out on tomorrow as well. Let's talk about the rest of the year. Nintendo put out this cool infographic that shows all of the games from fall and winter, and then things that are coming out in 2018. And there's a lot. There are a lot of games coming to the Switch, and a lot of games that I'm really, really looking forward to. But this year the rest of my year is going to be consumed with two games: Super Mario Odyssey and I can't remember the dang name now. Super Mario Odyssey and Xenoblade 2. Those are going to be the two huge releases. Now, let's look at what else is coming out. We also have Doom. That's coming out. That's a must-buy. If you've never played Doom, that is a must-buy game. It is fantastic, as long as you're okay with the disgustingness of it. It's really gross. Then you got Skyrim. This is another game. If you've never played Skyrim, this is a must-buy game for the Switch, especially for the Switch, because being able to take it with you means you will get so much further than I ever did. I bought the game twice, and I've never finished it. And both times, I probably put 50 or 60 hours into it, because there is a ridiculous amount of content there. And being able to bring it with you, like the only other open world game that I really, really got into was Breath of the Wild. And I had the ability to take it wherever I wanted to go. So I could play it on the TV in my bedroom. I could play it on the TV in the living room. I could play it on my computer. I could play it sitting on a couch. I could play it in a car. I could play it wherever I wanted. And so anytime that I felt the need to go back to that world, I couldn't say that. That world of Hyrule, I could. It was easy because I always had it with me. And that's the kind of game, that open world game like Skyrim, where if you want to go back to Skyrim, you're absolutely going to be able to, and it's going to be great. So I'm probably not going to buy it again because I've already bought it twice. But I think that you should if you haven't, because Skyrim is going to be huge on the Switch. All right, so we got Skyrim, we got Doom, Rocket League. I will be buying Rocket League when that comes out. I already own it, but I got it for free when I bought my Steam controller. They just gave it away with the Steam controllers, which was awesome. I never ever would have bought Rocket League if I hadn't gotten it for free, because I don't care about sports and I really don't care about car games outside of Mario Kart. And so those two things together are an anathema. Like, I'm not interested in that even a little. And then having played it, I was like, oh my God, this game is wonderful. So I'm definitely going to be picking that game up because Team Psyonix deserves our money. And Rocket League is fantastic. So if you don't have Rocket League yet, absolutely get it. Make sure you add me on my friend code. It's at the bottom of the show notes, and we'll play some Rocket League together. And we can even play with people who are on Xbox, and we can play with people who are on PC. So that means we're going to have a huge pool of people to play with, and we're always going to be able to get games in Rocket League. Rocket League is going to be massive, and the fact that it's 60 frames per second is absolutely amazing. All right. What other games am I looking forward to this winter? There's probably nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head. I didn't plan on talking about this. It just kind of came out when I looked at Rocket League and was talking about what I was going to get. Or no, Fire Emblem Warriors, and the fact that I'm skipping it. I would not be upset at all if we could have some of these games delayed until next year, because there's just so much fantastic content coming down the pipe that a lot of people are going to be missing out on some of it. People are going to have to make a choice between game X and game Y, and they're going to pick one and they're not going to get the other, and then they're going to forget about the other. Nintendork asks, are we allowed to share friend codes? Of course. If you want to share your friend codes, by the way, what you can do is you can join the Discord, and in the Action Points channel of the Discord, there is a pinned document where you can add your friend code to the list. And I never really talk about this, but it's just something that's been there for Discord people for a long time, and anybody who listens to the show is welcome to do that. So it's that's in the Action Points channel of the Discord. And the Discord, again, is runjumpstomp.com/Discord. Then you go into the Action Points channel, and there's a Google Doc pinned right there at the top. And you can get everybody's friend code off of there and add everybody else's friend code and add your friend code as well. But anyway, I've talked a lot today. I don't know how long this episode is, but it's probably a good 40 minutes. So I'm going to shut up. That's all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed, let me know. You know what? Let me stop that. I'm going to cut that last part out. Let me just turn this up real quick. Solo. Today, I don't know how long this episode is, but it's probably a good 40 minutes, so I'm going to shut up. That's all. All right, right there. Delete. All right. Shoot. What was that? Was that the lightning round? Lightning round. Vaxxer guests 43 minutes. I'm not done yet. All right. There we go. That's all the... Hold on. Somebody is outside my door making noises. I think my son is trying to scare me. We have very, very squeaky chairs coming up. Yep, I hear. Yep, what? Lightning round was the longest section. I might cut that part out and put it at the beginning. I'm not sure. I may rearrange things. We'll see. All right. Yeah, we have super squeaky stairs. Like we redid everything up here, and we haven't fixed the stairs because we haven't decided what we want to do with them. And so I could hear somebody squeaking up, and I knew somebody was out there. And then they knocked because they heard me say, "Hold on." All right. That is all the time that we have for today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you'd like discussed, please let me know at one of the ways that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. If you're looking for ways to support the show, head on over to runjumpstomp.com/support. There you will find links to my wife's Etsy shop. You will find links to the Patreon. You will also find my Amazon affiliate link, but the absolute best way for you to support the show is to share it with a friend. So, thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Noteblock and Tom Winter for the music. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. Okay.